We are getting ready to go live with Food Talk Live in Farmer Street Pantry. So we have a couple of minutes and just finishing getting the workspace together. So if you're here, welcome. And today's topic is what to do when your vegan friends and family come for a barbecue at your place and you're not quite sure what they would like. I think that it's very easy. Hey out there, how you doing? Good to see you. And so it's quite easy. You can go, there are lots of vegetables that are typically served in barbecue menus, and you can really amp those up. And I'm sure your vegan friends and family would be very happy if you have quite a wide array of different vegetable and fruit salads. I'm sure they'd be fine. But today we're going to look at a couple of things that you might consider that you can do ahead of time and actually show that you are really cognizant of their food preferences and really want to give them a warm welcome. So hello, and again, this is Lynne with Farmer Street Pantry, and you are in our Food Talk Live broadcast for this week, every Thursday at 12:30. And this week's topic, we are covering vegan barbecue. What can you do to really welcome your vegan friends and family and show that you're thinking of them and you want them to feel included as well? So let's get going, shall we? All right, one thing today we're inside because it's hot outside and it's complicated to set this up. But if you're in an urban area, you might not even have a grill, but you don't really need a grill. One thing that I have is this great cast iron grill plate, which is from Le Creuset. It has a striated side, a grill side, and then just a flat grill side, and very versatile. It's small, easily fits on the counter, and it's wonderful, and it gives you great grill marks, as we will see in just a second. So let's fire up the grill and get that going. And I'm going to put it at about a medium heat to start, maybe medium high, just to get it kicked up and going. And the first thing that I want to cover is a recipe that actually was shared by a friend of mine who is an urban forester by way of Albany, Philadelphia, and Vancouver, British Columbia, Dan. And he very kindly sent his lentil sweet potato burger recipe that when he was in Brazil, he was inspired by a certain burger restaurant that they went to. They had this veggie burger that he really liked. So he's developed this burger, and if you go to the description, you can find Dan's letter to me. It was so great that I just kept it as is, and he doesn't have very specific amounts, but he does give ratios, and this is a great opportunity for you to bring in some of your taste preferences and creativity. So if you want to check that out, it's in the link. So lentil burgers, you're cooking up green lentils and sweet potatoes. Dan says it's about a 1-to-2 ratio, sweet potato to lentils. And then there are a variety of ways that you can spice that up. You can use traditional chili spices, or in this case, what I did is I chopped up some parsley. I added cumin and a little bit of cinnamon as well. Cumin goes really nicely with the green lentils, and a little touch of cinnamon keeps it sort of Middle Eastern a little bit, but also works really well with the sweet potatoes. So you mash those up. You also add some carrots. I used flaxseed and water to create a binder so that it holds together. So, and you can make it ahead of time. So the day before or several days before, you can make up your patty batter dough and get that in the fridge. You can even, there are two facets to cooking the patties. First is after you make them, you can immediately bake them. and that's what I did. So one of these is baked. This one is baked, and this one is the raw patty. So shape them however you want, and prep them up to this point where you bake it. You bake it for, Dan said about 300. I did 350 for roughly 10 minutes or so, and it just brought it together. And you can do that ahead of time. Then what you can do is, and I happen to have a baked burger right here, and let's get a little bit of oil on the griddle. And this griddle is really great because it gives nice hash marks and a nice caramelization on the outside. And that happens. There's certainly, with the sweet potatoes, there's certainly sugar in that, and also carbohydrates, and with the lentils, a little bit of protein, so all of that will caramelize up. So let's get that going on one side of our grill. Okay, and let's move on to the next thing while that's cooking up, shall we? So I want to show you, maybe you've heard of jackfruit. I wanted to show that to you today. Jackfruit is, you oftentimes will find this product in Asian stores. You can find the actual fruit. You can see that it sort of looks like a pimply green dinosaur egg is what it looks like. And they're pretty big. And you might see those. But the easiest way is to look for you want young green jackfruit. Now, this is in brine. Some recipes say don't use brine, use just water. Definitely don't go for older jackfruit in syrup. That's a totally different thing. You want young green, you want young jackfruit in brine or water, and that's fine. If it's very salty, you might want to rinse it a little bit. I really didn't. I just drained it and found that was fine. So jackfruit looks like this. When you take it out and you, oh, I should have opened, you know what, let's open a can somewhere. Here we go. I'll be right with you. I thought I had some pieces that weren't shredded. I wanted to show those to you. So let's open this can up. Now, jackfruit really reminds me of, if you can't find it, if you can't find the jackfruit, that is, of artichokes. So you might find artichoke hearts more readily than you do jackfruit. If you don't have an Asian market nearby, or if you have an abundance of whole artichokes, you can do that too, and we'll look at that. So this is the jackfruit. Try not to drip it on the computer. All right, so it has this kind of fibrous exterior, and then there's a core. A lot of recipes say get rid of the core, but these cans have had a lot of core. So what I did is I first cut the core off, got all the pieces cut, so I'm just dealing with the fiber, shredded that up. You can do that with your fingers, you can do that with a fork, and then I just chopped the core up a little bit, and that's what you're seeing here. So shred it up a bit, and then as you cook it, you can continue to shred it up to kind of give you that pulled pork look and mouthfeel. So I did that, and then just give it a treatment with barbecue seasoning. There are lots of different pulled jackfruit sandwich recipes. Check out online which one. I will go through and give you the link later after the show for the recipe that I used. But I just tossed chili, paprika, garlic powder, salt, and I think that was really it, to season it up, classic barbecue seasoning. So that's the jackfruit that's been seasoned. So I also did it with some shredded artichoke hearts, because again, you might have them, and I just wanted to see what it was like. So that's what the artichoke hearts look like. Same treatment. Okay, let's take a look at the burger, make sure I'm not burning it. Let's flip it over. Ooh, okay. Looking good. Some griddle marks. I don't know if you can see a few. The griddle's not super hot yet. So, but it is cooking. Okay. Now, jackfruit, the great texture is similar to pulled pork. So you often see it in tacos or sandwiches, burritos. Wonderful, because it will take on the flavorings of whatever your barbecue sauce is, or you can make your own barbecue sauce, however you choose to do it. This is kind of in the classic American tradition of barbecue sauce. So that's what I went with. And you cook it with barbecue sauce. First you cook it in its seasoned state, and then on the griddle or a hot cast iron skillet like this, and then you add some barbecue sauce and some water and let it simmer for a good half hour or so to really get a lot of flavor in, maybe color it up a little bit, and then this is what you have. Doesn't that look like pulled pork? So that you can definitely do ahead of time, probably the morning of, or maybe the evening of. You don't want to let it sit for too long. But anyway, you can do it ahead of time. So what you might be wondering what the artichoke looks like. Well, this is what the artichoke looks like. Same treatment. Not quite, it sort of has melted down a little bit more. It's dissolved a little bit more, but it's still yummy. And I think this could be a good substitute if you don't have access to jackfruit. So keep that in mind. Okay, so that's jackfruit barbecue. And again, you can do it ahead of time if you're doing tacos or pulled pork or anything like that, and you want everyone to feel, to be in sync with what they're eating. If you're having sandwiches, it's a great way to go for a barbecue. Or you can put it on top of something that's barbecued as well. Okay, so the next thing is a little more in the traditional vegetable realm. I just wanted to get warm and fuzzy with our friend cauliflower, because it's just great. Very versatile, and for barbecue, it's terrific. And I just wanted to talk about how you can prep that for success on the grill. So what I have here are various iterations. First, you need to blanch it, and blanching in salted water for no more than a minute or two, because you don't want to overcook this, but it's very critical to open up the cell structure, the sugars, for caramelization. So this one I had blanched and grilled, so you see the nice grill marks, and it has a great consistent texture. This one I did not blanch, and it didn't grill up as much, or grill mark as much, and the texture is inconsistent. So you can still do it if you don't have time, but I think you get a better effect if you just take a couple minutes, boil up a pot of salted water, and blanch it for just, until it's really, just throw it in, let it go for a minute, and then pull it out, because you don't want to overcook it and then it'll fall apart on you. That has happened. And you can also, now when you cut up cauliflower, you'll get a steak in the middle. You'll get a couple of steaks in the middle, and then things start to fall off into florets. So you will have, you might grab a couple of steaks out of a head of cauliflower, but you'll also have these great florets, which the same thing, you want to blanch them, and then they're ready to go. And then you just simply, we'll take this guy, and you just simply put it on the grill and cook it. Get it going that way. You could probably put some oil on it. I decided not to, because my griddle is pretty well oiled. You can also put down, if you're working outside on a grill, you might want to oil up the vegetable, or you can put down some oiled aluminum foil, which we did the other night, and it worked really well with asparagus and with some cauliflower and tofu. And that makes cleanup really easy on the grill as well, for meat too. So we have our lentil burger on, our cauliflower is on, moving along to, and our jackfruit is all made. So now we're going to look at marinating, and that's always a thing that you associate with barbecue. So what can you marinate that really drinks in the flavor of the marinade and makes for a better morsel for you. So I have a couple of portobello mushrooms here, and I have to tell you that I'm from southeastern Pennsylvania, and there's a town, Kennett Square, which is known as the mushroom capital of the world. And portobello mushrooms are just a grown-up version of the small white mushrooms. And the small white mushrooms was what everybody was eating a generation ago. And they found out that with more of a globalized outlook on eating, that people wanted something that had maybe a little more heft to it. And you could just take those little white mushrooms and let them grow up a little bit and charge a little more money and call them fancy name portobello, and you have a whole new spin on the mushroom industry. So anyway, what you were looking at were 2 portobello mushroom caps, which I just marinated in a simple vinaigrette, whatever your taste is. If it's not vinaigrette, if you want to make it Asian, you could as well, using soy sauce, sesame oil, that kind of thing. I went Mediterranean and did olive oil. I just made it easy on myself and used garlic powder, little vinegar, and some mustard. So, and some cayenne pepper. So I've got those on. Hey, let's grill one of these guys now. They're going to grill up. They grill up kind of quickly, and like this, you can see the grill marks on those that I did, and they shrink a bit too, but lots of flavor, very meaty texture. Let's check out how we're doing here. I'm going to flip the lentil burger. Ooh, that looks great. Lots of nice dark grill marks. Okay, the cauliflower looks good too. Got some grill marks, and now we have our mushroom on. Okay, so marinate the mushrooms. That's something that I wouldn't do too far ahead of time. Probably the morning of, no more than that. Up to half an hour ahead of time is fine. Maybe even 15 minutes. The thing about mushrooms is if you have a lot of salt, you're going to get a lot of drainage out. So if you can keep the salt out until you're done, or you're just about to put it on the grill, then that's a good move. Otherwise, you get some extra liquid leaching out of the mushrooms. But probably either way is fine. So the other thing that I want to show you how to marinate and then cook is tofu. I think there might be a little bit of a shortage in tofu. Now I'm going to swing you down here just a little bit. I saw something online about that, but if you, again, check out your local Asian market, because there's one locally, Hans, that makes their own tofu, and it's terrific. So anyway, this I got at the grocery store, but I cut this into half-inch slices. Sorry, not chunks. This is a standard size tofu block. It's half a tofu block, so I get 4 pieces. And then what I'm going to do is I like to take a little bit of the moisture out. So put them on a plate with a towel. Give them a little squeeze with a towel to get the moisture out. This is dense. This is not silken. This is not firm. This is extra firm tofu. And I think it holds up a little bit better. Okay, so now we have our squeezed pieces, and I'm going to put them on a tray with some barbecue sauce. And these can marinate. Again, I probably wouldn't do it overnight because the salts and so forth and the marinade will start to break down, I think, the tofu. So, you could probably do it a couple hours ahead of time. And these grill up so quickly. Here they are. And they soak up the flavor. And let's put those on. Okay. So there's extra sugar in the barbecue sauce, so you should get good grill marks that look just like this when we grill up the tofu. I'm sorry, but you can adjust your horizontal hold if you need to. But yeah, that's kind of crazy looking, isn't it? But delicious. And these I made ahead of time, and I think they would be great. Grill them up ahead of time if you know, if you don't want to be a slave to the grill, and just put them out, and I'm sure they'll be fine and delicious for your barbecue, and you don't have to hang out. One thing I forgot to show you, which my friend Margaret brought this past weekend, which I love, and I still don't have your recipe, Margaret, but maybe I'll get it someday. Okay, chimichurri is Argentinian pesto, and it's delicious. It has tang of vinegar in it, some oregano. I made a batch, and I put jalapeno and some mint in it, but it's great. So I think it's open to interpretation, but that's it. You can do it in your food processor. It goes great in an immersion blender, but it's delicious. And let's dress up our cauliflower after I flip a few things here. The mushroom, the tofu, the cauliflower. Okay, looking good. Okay, so we have, look at this gorgeous cauliflower steak. That's a center cut steak right there. And we're going to put some chimichurri sauce on that. Some of Margaret's awesome chimichurri. So doesn't that look great? Just going to dot it. This is wonderful because sometimes you get tired of the you know, tomato-based kind of barbecue. This is a little more classically maybe South American or European, Mediterranean, but that's really delicious. I'm smelling the garlic, the parsley, the oregano, and a little bit of the vinegar. Just really, really yummy all-purpose sauce that's put on meats in Argentina. So, okay. We have quite an array here on the stove now, cooking up, and I think everything is just about done. Let me pull it off and show you what we have on a plate. All right, so here's our mixed vegan grill. And we could put vegan cheese certainly on the burger or anything that you wanted. I'm sorry, today I did not do, I ran out of time, did not do vegan mac and cheese, which is a whole other thing. We also, at Farmer Street Pantry, we have a vegan baked bean recipe, which features our all fruit mincemeat, and it's pretty delicious. And we just posted a video on that with the recipe, so look for that. But anyway, didn't have time today. So here's our vegan mixed grill, and I think I want to make a sandwich out of some of this. So I've got my, always toast your buns, and that's always a requirement. So I'm going to put the lentil burger on that. Let me get some jackfruit going on here. Dan, thank you so much for your lentil burger recipe. You really helped in a pinch. And thank you, Margaret, for your chimichurri recipe. And here's our barbecue sandwich. And thank you all for coming today and joining me in our vegan barbecue. Don't be afraid if the vegans are coming. They're really nice people, and they're onto something. So anyway, great to see you all. Love your comments, and thank you for coming today. Be well, be healthy, and see you next time. Mmm, 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 mmm.